Hi folks, welcome to my second tutorial of WebGL. This contains basic addition of coloring, lighting, ambient coloring, that is directional lighting, as well as the direction. It contains more optimized code and the lighting toggle, switch off and switch on. The box that you see is JS color. I have not modified any JS color coding. This shows you whether, see, the lighting is not there, then I have chosen it to be black. The console log shows every single detail as such previously, but this time it's happening through a single functionality. There is some alignment done over here. Apart from the texture position normals, you will see addition that is of normals. The load texture you notice over here, that is because of the number of objects that's present in your screen. Those are getting loaded later on in some iterations. Coming to the code, there are two splits done in this now. I have removed the frames per second as well as the mouse location JS files. These are separate independent objects that can be called up when required. So there you are. The scalar ops is a separate part, but apart from that, I have placed locally everything in common scripts. Scalar ops is present directly in Keystone under GitHub. You can take it from there. The other addition that I've used for showing is the color information. So I've used JS color. So I have not modified any code over here. Please check the associated website for more information. As you can see, there are similar kind of shaders and fragment shaders as well as vertex shaders for cube, triangle, pyramid. The extra one added is cube like text. Coming to the main code, the changes are screen width and height variable name change, same object to list dispose, frames per second object and mouse location from the JavaScript files, redraw ID, and on exist you would see only one single object to dispose call because I'm pushing everything over there. A common looper iterator and then a draw looper for particularly the drawing. Redraw ID is I'm creating a common ID where the redraw needs to be tracked. This was done previously and now it's maintained the same. Draw looper is just a looper for the drawing aspect. The redraw is used in redraw, that is, so that you can loop through only the redraw functionality. I didn't want to declare the variable there, that's why I did it on top only once. Console log now has a separate functionality. You can use print log. Coming to cancel request anime frame, that has not been changed except for alignments. Similarly, the base bucket, the WebGL bucket, has not been changed. You should not might find any difference. Let's start from main. So you have the draw frames per second div toolbar, both of which are commentable. It has been written exclusive, and the draw canvas draws the canvas. Starting with WebGL start. In this we can load actually any number of pockets can be loaded. The code has been written such that you can load the cube text any multiple number of times. That's not an issue anymore. The FPS object that has been set in such a way that it's no more dependent on a div, that is you don't need to specify an ID field. This is a direct insertion where you need to get the update the frames per second and you need to get the average and the current frames per second. This is a better way of doing this part. The stop at iteration has been added just for the developer functionality. Say you want to stop render, then you can go ahead and click the button, but the problem is when you are developing some code, you want it to end at some number of iterations, that is after 10 frames you want it to stop. This functionality gives you the flexibility of doing the same thing. I have disabled it in the front end so that you can only see the number, but in the back end you can go ahead and set the value over here. Under redraw is where you are going to see the iteration and FPS data dumped inside. The same content list loading, cube text and cube light text, everything loads in the same thing. There is not much changes apart from that. The condition where the iteration would stop is set here. It is greater than 1. It's at best to use at around value 30. Render and the console log will show some amount of contents. Initiator functionality should have quite number of checks so that only when the attribute exists that you need to create the shader program dot get you need to get the information only when you require it. So that's what is changed here. The loading texture part has been taken care of little properly. You will know when it is initialized and when it is being loaded over here. So it takes some 20 30 10 iterations at times to load it properly. Disable vertex attribute array was quite a challenge because I didn't know this part where you had to enable position color, texture and normalization vertices separately, and then those attribute arrays needs to be disabled considering you have multiple items in the same GL pocket. So here I have cube, pyramid, cube, texture, light, square and triangle. Now since triangle has position and color, cube had position, texture as well as normal information. WebGL did not know how to assume how triangle would work within the same GL. So there are only two line items in triangle. So it was always trying to find the third line item, and that is the purpose of that disabled. So you need to tell every time you need to enable position, color, and then whenever it comes back to the end, that is maximum of 4 items. So when it comes disable the rest of them, you need to do this manually. That part I didn't know, and it was done over here. At the end of every draw functionality, once everything is enabled vertices, that is 2 of them, here in the case position and color, then we would be disabling the rest of them. Similarly, it's been done for others. Let's take draw triangle for a little bit. So unless you buffer it, we don't draw the item. So only if it is buffered, the vertex position buffer, we draw the line items. Similarly, it has been done for square, pyramid and cube as such. Note that buffer cube is almost running all the 3 of them. So only if position is there, it's going to buffer draw the position and buffer. So color is there, then texture is there. Only in availability, a few changes over here where upper I've changed the variable names. So only when normal texture or color it exists and the shader program itself contains the variable, then and only then it's going to process the information. Similarly for indices as well as normals. Now coming to the texture count, this has been maintained for every single object as well as the whole pocket. This will be useful in a later point. The method how lighting has been handled is only if the shader program has the lighting uniform and lighting toggle has been enabled, then you will get a lighting. But what if the lighting information, that is the developer toolbar, is not there? In that case, the else has been written, that is you have toggled it off. The else has been written for that sole purpose of to normalize this. So I have set some that is the ambient as well as the directional color. I have set it to 0 so that it looks black. This is a choice I have made. You can change it. Coming to the destroy part, a lot of things were not done previously. Now you have the content list type, basic items deleted, the attributes first that has been eliminated, as well as the shaders, the textures. There is no conditional deletion, all of these are, and then the program. And then these buffers were not deleted properly, that is the content of these buffers. This has been taken care of, and the additional items that has been added because of lighting. And finally it goes to the location and values, item size. Apart from that, the rest also too were not deleted previously, and this has now been taken care of over here. And finally coming to the shader itself, you have the light direction, you have a directional light which is basically a sun, and the ambience color and the normal set. The purpose is the texture has a texture color, it needs to illuminate the direction as well as ambience color. The color that needs to be illuminated needs to be weighted upon how much of the lighting that's present. So the textures RGB is been multiplied by the amount of light that's been present in the that is the render, and the light weighting is done as such based on a transform normal. The reason for the transformation itself is based on the direction of the directional color. On that aspect, you will see which part of the cube is going to be illuminated and how much it needs to be illuminated, because the rest will be coming from only the ambient color. Thank you for watching this video. This gives you a second part of the basics of what all has been done in terms of lighting. There will be further enhancements. Please do present in the comments whichever you like the questions that you have on this WebGL aspect. I too am a beginner. Anyway, I would like to thank you for watching this.